Hello, and thank you for tuning in and hearing about my Coca-Cola original recipe recommendations. Today I'll be discussing a number of recommendations that I suggest for them, meaning Coca-Cola, to seek as an option to stay competitive in a crazy market. Before we begin, I wanted to go ahead and talk about some introduction points. The first being a recommendation to develop a communication audit for Coca-Cola original recipe. As there are a bunch of different lines for Coca-Cola, today we'll be focusing on the Coca-Cola original and exploring other recommendations following, such as the recommendations focus on consumer trust, brand positioning, and digital engagement. What the goal of this is to help Coca-Cola remain competitive, all while adapting to a changing consumer expectation. As we have seen the shift in different consumers, not only by youth, but with their competition, we'll explore further recommendations following this. So first, let's go ahead and explore why changes are made and or needed. For consumer preferences, this is changing due to health concerns, lifestyle trends, and just the general consumer being more aware of what the ingredients are that are out there that are not doing wonderful things to their health. Therefore, consumers have a bit more awareness when it comes to what are healthy ingredients and what are harmful ingredients. With that being said, we see that many consumers are now becoming more health conscious, and with that, they pay more attention to certain ingredients that may cause harm or that may have other additives which will create harm later on in their bodies. With that, we see ingredients, sugar intake, and also imitation sugars play a factor. You also see competition from healthier beverages and alternatives, as this has increased over the years with wider competition, especially with that health-conscious awareness of younger and now more educated consumers. Although Coca-Cola does have a strong following and it does have some pretty loyal consumers, we do see that they will shift and pivot as needed in order to make those adjustments as needed by their consumers. By doing so, Coca-Cola will stay competitive in the consumer market, thus staying relevant. For my first recommendation, it would be to increase transparency. By doing so, Coca-Cola should clearly communicate ingredients and natural information, and nutritional information. Consumers are becoming more health conscious and thus aware, which would then demand that they want more transparency from the companies. Providing clearer product information can also improve the trust and thus strengthen consumer relationships, thus that transparency we talked about. With that transparency, we can also see that it'll help reduce negative perceptions related to sugar and calories. Everyone knows that soda is not a healthy alternative, although it is a comfort food item. For my second recommendation, Coca-Cola traditionally focuses on happiness, tradition, and nostalgia in their marketing schemes. You'll see this a lot during the Christmas time with their Clydesdales, Santa Claus, and there'll always be happy faces, family, or cultural setting. Second, I would say the company should also show how Coke can fit into a balanced lifestyle. Even though Coke is not a healthy choice, it can still be a product of comfort and thus bring happiness or contentness. By doing so, this will allow the brand to stay modern, also while maintaining its identity. The positioning around the product around modernization may also appeal to new consumers. Although the product is old, the taste has still stayed consistent, and as we have newer consumers and new buyers come into the beverage market, it is still appealing to most. Recommendation number 3. While social media is exploding, we see it in day-to-day usage. To appeal to the younger audience, I would say consumers spend more time on social media and digital platforms than anything else, not so much TV or radio. Personalized marketing campaigns can help strengthen consumer relationships. While also having interactive online content, this can increase the engagement and brand awareness. I mean, who doesn't know about Coca-Cola, but yet alone Coca-Cola Original, which is the focus of today, especially when there are so many other flavors, brands, and competition. Digital engagement also helps Coca-Cola connect with modern audiences more effectively, as it is probably the number one marketing or social media way to spread their advertising. As for my fourth recommendation, I would say Coca-Cola would be best to leverage branding strengths. Luckily for Coca-Cola, they already have a huge benefit and a strong brand recognition around the world. Luckily, because of Coca-Cola's size and its robust distribution network, the product can be found almost anywhere. It would behoove Coca-Cola to continue using these strengths while also adapting to changing expectations, as again, play to their strengths and not their weaknesses. Lastly, because Coca-Cola has kept their taste continuous and something that can be predicted, that maintaining of quality, it is important that they should also maintain that consistency and keep their loyal customer base that is existing versus chasing new customers. Some of the predicted benefits are recommendations that can improve consumer trust and brand relevance, thus that loyalty we talked about. Health-conscious consumers may also respond well to a more positive and transparent ingredient base, as they are becoming more health conscious and aware of those high fructose corn syrups or artificial sweeteners. Modernized market strategies can also help attract young consumers, as we talked about the social media basis, and that how people aren't really listening to the radio or watching as much TV anymore, but more or less glued to their phones. So use that tactic as a strength. And lastly, the last benefit, maintaining a strong emotional branding can continue supporting loyalty. As we talked about, Coca-Cola typically has traditional nostalgia or happy moments with family or culture in most of their commercials, especially around the holiday season. As for my concluding stance, I have 3 positions for you. 1, Coca-Cola remains one of the strongest brands in the world. You can pretty much find their products, and especially Coca-Cola Original, basically anywhere. To the counterpoint, consumer behavior is evolving and expectations are changing. Thus, Coca-Cola needs to make sure to not have the same song, different tune. By improving transparency, adjusting positioning, and increasing digital engagement, Coca-Cola can remain competitive and continue growing in the future, especially with that wonderful brand management and their loyal consumers. And lastly, here are my sources that I referenced to ensure that I have wonderful content that is accurate. Thank you for joining and have a wonderful week.